turns out it is in fact possible to make an even simpler version of a two-dimensional storage. One that doesn't even require you to drop items using a dropper into cobwebs or powdered snow, like this design used. Obviously, it comes as a massive downside of accessibility. This is way more annoying to walk up and down than to run around inside of this thing, as I showed in the previous video. However, this is way simpler and way more robust. So what do I mean by robust? This is not a matter of reliability or something like that. Most machines that don't break boxes or anything like that are practically 100% reliable. The problem is when you play on public servers. I'm not sure how much of my audience does that, but I definitely have a lot of friends that do it. And one of the problems with public servers is they hate things like clocks, for example. So making a dropper-based auto-ejection system is basically impossible there. And another problem is they also, for some reason, hate items moving, and they like to clump them up together, even if the items are different, which would also break a design like the one I showed before. So this thing circumvents all of that. This is basically just a set of these pretty compact filters where you have the item you want to filter, 4 slots blocked, 1 item here, and then if you throw more of them into this, they end up in the double chest. We can even demonstrate it. Very simple. I didn't put the water streams in here yet. I'll do that later in the video. This is obviously one-line tileable. This is completely repetitive. It's basically every 3 blocks you have a double chest. And this doesn't need to be a double chest. So let's go over what we can do with this. Because some people might underestimate this a little. You can do something like this. You now doubled the capacity. And because we are in the newer versions of Minecraft, we can simply access blocks through other blocks like hoppers much easier. You can go all the way. Problem is, where do you put the indicator blocks? Because you cannot easily walk on them. These have to be stairs specifically. So you can also do something like this, which I did not demonstrate, but I was thinking it might be obvious. This way you avoid the problem of having very little access to shulker boxes. You can even do something along these lines, where you have the double chest and you have the shulker box. Because this is one of the big problems on certain public servers. You don't have farms for shulker shells. So you could also do this with more inferior options like single chests or barrels. However, that doesn't give you anything. So let's go over how to make the water stream inputs. It's really not that difficult. I wanted to show this in a video because I'm slightly afraid that some people that this is designed for would have problems with it. So I want to demonstrate how easy it is. You can block water in several ways. Fence gates are very good. You can use signs. excuse my inability to find things in these menus these days. You can also use slabs, but you have to be a little more careful. You can do it at the ends of these things, but if you do it somewhere like this, it might be a problem because the items get stuck. So here I'll just use fence gates because they're really cheap. This should work, I think. Okay, this seems to be good enough. Now another one. Actually, here you can't use them, so you have to use signs. Actually, yeah, use signs. Remember to crouch. And this way you simply continue. You want to have this section before a gap be at least 4 or 5 blocks long, so the item gets enough speed. So you can even do something along these lines. Where you would... I will remove this quickly. This should also work. Lovely. This way this gap can be significantly longer. So a gap, water stream. Yeah. And now you basically repeat the same procedure. We can do another one, I guess. So what did I do here? I did 2 blocks sideways. There's also another important thing I want to show with this. Okay, now you can easily repeat this. So, one more thing, you should do this. Because you will have cases where I throw the item in here somewhere. Let's try it like this. So it doesn't fall over too much. Oh, sorry, not fall over, what is the correct name? Fly off too far. You can also use couple walls. Well, this works pretty well. Another interesting thing about this design, it is incredibly primitive. This requires even less additional blocks. This basically requires you to just do these slightly different filters, which require one more comparator and one more dust than normal, and some stairs, compared to just building regular item filters. You can make these gaps bigger and fit other types like 2x filters in there, but I wouldn't risk that. So yeah, this is a storage anyone can build, probably on any server. So you can, with this kind of primitive technology, beat basically any hallway out there. You can make this 20 by 20, this is just a 10 by 10 example. I'll continue making these in 10 by 10 sizes. I'll also continue making some more advanced designs in the future. But I really wanted to get this out to you guys because I know a lot of people play on these servers with server-side plugins, mods, all kinds of issues being caused by things they cannot control, they cannot influence. And they also want to have really simple storages. And this is one of them. This doesn't really get any simpler at this point. Also, one thing my friends told me about, which is really cool about these designs, if you are playing on something like a factions server or even those servers that allow you to claim a residence area, I think it's called, what this allows you to do is stack it more vertically. Because in those cases, you actually don't want to have a large area covered by your storage. It's more effective if it covers more area vertically. So yeah, I hope this helped you. I hope you like the video. Like, share, subscribe. Of course, if you don't tell other people about it, I'm not going to suffer. And have a nice day.